that person falls in love with the caricature of me. That will never feel authentic. Unidentified, meaty stuffing screws. Very strange. You have to develop an overall philosophy. Why are you doing this? Do you want to be here for a long time, or do you want to die early? We're all there in this like milieu of oh, I was gonna get emotional then. I don't know, it's so weird, isn't it? It's so weird being. Hey guys, welcome back to another Ask Me Anything AMA. Thank you if you sent a question in to me. I'm going to try my best to get through all of them. We've got all sorts of topics, including morning routines, hair, Hyrox, habits, productivity, diets, AI, attachment styles, and life after death. Without further ado, let's get into it. Kate L says, can we have an update on your extensive morning routine? Anything weird also? Right. Current morning routine is as follows. Like, this varies, so I'm not perfect every day, but in a perfect ideal world, this is what I'd be doing. Wake up at 6 a.m, I go to the bathroom, and then I'll have a drink of just some water and plain electrolytes, and then I will then go back to bed, and I'll just sit up in bed, and then I will put on my heart rate strap, my polar heart rate strap, and do my I've actually been doing blood pressure and HRV and resting heart rate. So taking those measures. Before I do that, I'll do like a perceived measurement. So I've got a spreadsheet which also has like my measurements for my waist circumference and stuff like that, which I have with my trainer Paddy. But I'll put in like my perceived readiness. So anyone who's had got a Whoop or a Fitbit or anything like that, you get like a recovery score or a readiness score, like how you're feeling for the day. So what I've been doing is tracking how I actually feel perceived to be waking up. Almost like if I was trying to predict my Whoop score, what would it be? Number 1 to 100. So I'll plot that down, but I'll make sure that I've done that before doing any other readings, so that it's like absolutely not biased by any other factor. They'll do blood pressure, and I'll do that just sort of like sat up in bed, heart rate strap, and then track, do a manual HRV reading. If you want to understand a bit more about HRV, there was an episode I did a couple of weeks ago with Matt Bennett, the founder of Optimal HRV, and I've been using his app to take these manual readings, and what I've been noticing is they are drastically different to like some of these numbers that you get with your wearables and stuff, and it's another thing that we can maybe come on to. I still am using the Whoop. I'm undecided as to whether I'm going to keep it. I think it's great for sleep tracking. I don't know, but I think everything else outside of that, it's not great. Like if you try and do a workout, like it's just all over the place. So yeah, so then I'll do my I'll record that, and then I'll just jot it down in my spreadsheet, and then I'll put I've got my spreadsheet on my phone. I'm not using my laptop or anything like that, just using Google Sheets. And then I will, what do we do next? So depending on like how I'm feeling, like if am I feeling groggy, or am I feeling fresh, and do I have time? But if I woke up at 6 a.m, I usually have plenty of time. I will do a yoga nidra session, which is basically like a mindful nap. So I will I use one called she's called Ali Boythroyd. She's like so popular on YouTube. Just search that in YouTube. Or to be honest, if you search yoga nidra 20 minutes, loads of her stuff will come up. She's got so many. And you can adjust them to do like different times. So depending on how much time I've got, if I've got loads of time, I'll probably do a 30-minute yoga nidra. If I've got less time, I'll do like 10 to 15 minutes. Even 5 minutes can work. If you wake up feeling groggy, it's amazing like what it does. And even if you don't fall asleep, or if you do fall asleep, like it's good either way. It just like, it's like a nervous system reset. And you might think, well, why would I need that first thing in the morning? It's really handy throughout the day to do that nervous reset. But in the morning, there just seems to be something about it. I don't know whether it's like if you've woken up and you've missed a sleep stage, like there are these like 4 sleep stages that we go throughout the night. And if you wake up early and your body's not expecting it, if you miss that one of those stages, then maybe like it's like you go back to bed for like this like nervous system reset, and your body's like, right, okay, we've got a little bit more time. Let's fucking crack on. Let's like do all the stuff that we need to do to make this person feel fresh. So I do that, and that's really cool. So average will be like 20 minutes probably. After I've done that, I go downstairs. Oh, I've missed out something. Sorry. But when I go downstairs first thing, have a pee, then I'll do my morning measures. So it's waist, it's stomach, it's hips, which I don't know why he says hips because it's your ass. And then that's it. And then so I'll put it in my sheet. Oh, and weight, and I like to do that every day. And after I've had like been to the toilet or whatever, so it's like more accurate. But to be honest, like it doesn't make that much of a difference. It's like usually about 100 to 200 grams, which like so in kilos, just like 1 or 2 decimal places. I'll put that into my thing, and then I go upstairs and I do all the other stuff that I've just mentioned. Here's me. I'm like, it's not very extensive at the moment, but I'm just being detailed and telling you exactly what I do. So after that, then I go downstairs. Now I might listen to a podcast, or to be honest, actually, at the moment, it's not like the best habit, but it's like YouTube, AI stuff, like kind of self-improvement-y, like tech, just stuff to kind of get me like a bit inspired, like what's the latest, what's going on, what are people doing in the AI space. And I'll have that on sort of when I'm wandering about the house. Sometimes I'll put on Behind the Diary, Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO. He does this Behind the Diary channel, which is pretty cool. And I just get a lot of like insights into like how he runs his companies, how he runs his meetings, how he runs his podcasts. So there's a lot of crossover there for me in terms of the various bits and bobs that I do. So while I'm doing that, I'll be making my morning coffee, and that will be so at the moment. So I've massively reduced my caffeine intake, which has been really remarkable in terms of the mood improvements and how I've been feeling. And I'm trying to like manage those, like not peaking too high all the time, because what goes up must come down. So in the morning, I have this big old cafetiere, which I've probably mentioned before, but now I'm doing 50% decaf beans, 50% regular. And I have them like in one of these like IKEA glass jar things, and they're all shook up. So yeah, I can kind of see like the dark ones or the decaf ones, and they're all mixed up. So I'll do that, and then I'll put some theanine in there because it's good for cognition and also will reduce that caffeine jitters. Allegedly, supposedly, they've done it in studies. / I've heard it on a podcast, and I'll also put in cacao. So cacao powder, basically what chocolate comes from. So there's like no sugar in it. So I'll put like a tablespoon in of that. It's got lots of copper in it, and other stuff. Definitely copper. I want to say selenium, but I'm not sure if that's true. And it's supposed to be very good for vascular health and brain health. So because of the vascular properties, so it's going to open up your vascular system, allow more blood flow to come in, and supposedly get more into the brain. So I have that. I'm typically fasted most mornings. Obviously, that will probably kick me out of fast for a little bit. Like there's probably like 30 calories in it or something, but I'm not losing sleep over anything like that. Oh, and I will put a little pinch of salt in there just to give me like that little bit of extra electrolytes. Once I've done that, I will go outside for a walk. Thankfully, it's been nice weather for quite a long time, so that's much easier. And it'll be like 15 minutes, something like that, maybe about like 1,500, 2,000 steps. And it's like the whole classic Andrew Human trying to get some sunlight in my eyes. I try to make sure I sneeze because I feel like that's like giving me a good hit of it. And also like I always like feel like a nutter, and I've spoken about this before, but I do like shoulder circles. So I'll do like 10 forward, 10 back whilst I'm walking down the road. People look at me like, look at that fucking weirdo. And that's pretty much it. I might do like a little bit of stretching on like if I like okay, I always do some stretching on there's like a railing. So I'll do like a bit of like it's almost like a hip hinge kind of just stretch out my back and my shoulders and stuff. And then I get back. And then I'll do a cold shower. I'm not doing ice baths at the moment. I'll do a cold shower because that's tough enough at the moment. Sit down, and then it will be. I might carry on watching what I've been watching before on YouTube, just while I'm sat with my coffee, or I will, or listen to like some philosophy or maybe a book for like 10, 15 minutes, something that's just gonna kind of give me some like good inputs and open my mind up to like different perspectives. To enhance creativity is that I see it. And then I will after that. So I'm drinking my coffee at this point. Then after like one cup of coffee, I will stop that and I'll do my morning meditation. And I'm flipping back and forth between like guided sessions on Sam Harris's Waking Up app. But other times maybe like I don't, it's probably not the best way to do it, but if I'm like feeling like really excited for the day and I've got like loads of ideas popping in and out, sometimes I don't want to lose that. So I'll just set like a timer going. They actually have one of these on the app, so you can do like, or you could do it with like Insight Timer, or just a stopwatch, I guess, or you could do it with like a split timer. If you're using one for workouts for your phone, so they might do like 12 minutes, and then every 2 minutes a little bell goes off. So then I'll flip back and forth between different like modes of thinking. So and then I'll have my voice recorder running on my phone. And so for the first 2 minutes, it'll just be like, just focus on the breath and like, just try and relax, like notice thoughts coming in or whatever, but don't get too involved in them. And just focus on sensations of my body. But usually it's the breath. That's the easiest thing to anchor it to. And the reason I'm doing that is it's kind of like you're doing like this back and forth push and pull between like ideas and like allowing space. Sometimes when you step away from a problem or something you're trying to solve, you'll find that the solution just arises, is conjured up, summoned from the gods, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm looking to do that in this particular protocol. And then bell will go off after like 2 minutes, and then I'll just give myself permission to think about whatever I want to think about. And that might be like sometimes just allowing myself to just think will mean I won't think and I'll just kind of sit there. But like maybe something will pop up. When it comes into my mind, I just speak it out loud, and then my Google Recorder will transcribe it for me. And then the 2 minutes goes off again, and then I'll go back to, okay, let's focus back on the breath. So I'll go back and forth. So then within that, I've got 6 minutes of like pure meditation. I've got 6 minutes of kind of like proactive kind of planning, creative thinking, something along those lines. But if I'm not doing that, I'll just follow like a guided session. And then sometimes I will also have the voice recorder going and do my guided meditation just in case something pops in. And then, and it just because maybe I don't want to lose something like will come in, and I don't want it to stress me out while I'm in the meditation thinking, fucking hell, I need to remember that. So I'll just speak it out loud. And then afterwards I can go into my notes and then process it. And then once I've done that, like ideally, depending on what day it is, like my whole morning routine is have as minimal distractions as possible. So like my phone's not on. I mentioned my phone, but a lot of you will know I've got two phones. One doesn't have a SIM card in and one does. So the one with SIM card hasn't been turned on yet. I've just been using my no SIM card phone. And ideally, I won't switch on my phone for as long as possible. So maybe if I've got like a work commitment, or if I know like a team member might need something early on, then I'll have to turn it on. But ideally, I'm kind of try and be like not contactable till like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So by the time I've finished all that, it's maybe like 8 o'clock, and then I'll start doing some work. So what I'm really enjoying at the moment is this like contrast. You see there's a bit of a theme here, like this contrast between like analog working, so pen and paper, and then like using tech. So I feel like with lots of with all the stuff that's going on with AI and technology and stuff, like we need to be really creative thinkers if we're going to have an advantage in this new world that's coming along. And if we can tie the both together and leverage AI and also have original thought, then that's going to be useful. So that will look like about I'll maybe just be at my dining table. And what I'm really loving at the moment actually is post-it notes, and I've got like these big like architects pads, like a dotted pad. I've got like a is it A2 and an A1. The A1's like pretty mental. Like I feel like I get a tan when I open it up because it's just like it's so white. And it's like but I don't know. I don't know if I prefer the A2 one, but I was just like bigger is better, no? And so I'll put whatever I'm trying to do there. I'll like maybe I've got something I need to think about. So I might need to think about what is the most important task of today, and I will plan that out during that. So it might look like I'm just like sketching something out. I'm like scribbling stuff down, just trying to come up with it. I might be processing some of the notes that I put in my phone, and then I will use post-it notes to kind of organize ideas, move them around, and just kind of I really feel like that getting things down on paper physically, even though it's in my phone. Like you can add stuff to your phone and other stuff is in my phone. There's something about like just getting it down that really helps. So I'm enjoying that at the moment. And then I'll usually from that have a plan for the day and like one like major task that I need to work on. And then I'll go off, I'll do that. And then that's pretty much morning routine. And then depending on how the day goes, that'll either go really well or it'll go to shit. And yeah, and then I'll just like go through checking off my habits and stuff. We've got a question around habits, so I can talk to you a little bit more about that. I mean, that was a long one, wasn't it? Fucking hell. Kate also says anything weird. Don't know, all of it. Yeah, don't know. But yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments what you found weird about that. Okay. Next up. That was a fucking big old start, wasn't it? Ben R, what's the nastiest thing you've ever eaten? I was gonna say like for first night in Bangkok. I had a scorpion on a stick as a video going around somewhere. I'll have to see if I can link it up or whatever. And yeah, so that was pretty minging. But I would say actually, this is a funnier, more obscure one. I was once at a house party when we were kids. I don't know, like, I said kids. I don't know. It was 15, 16, whatever. And you know, you remember those types of parties, like they're just chaos, whatever. Their parents are away. There's just all sorts of debauchery going on. And just like drunk, wandered into the kitchen, and then just got like, after you've had like so many beers, you obviously get the munchies, don't you? You're just like, food, need food. We probably hadn't eaten because we were just like idiot kids. And remember opening up the fridge with like one of my mates, and he must have got something out, and it was like so sparse. There was hardly anything there, and then there was like this this bowl of, and I was like, what is that? Like, and it looked a bit like stuffing. If you're listening outside of the UK, it's kind of like sage and like oats and stuff. We have it with like roast dinners. Maybe you have it in the US and stuff. I don't know. It looked like stuffing. And so I got it out and I was just like, put this spoon in it and I started eating it. And then I was like, crunch down on something. Like, and then I spat it out and it had like little tiny bolts and screws. I'd eaten, I'd eaten a ball of unidentified meaty stuffing screws. Very strange. And to this day, no idea. I can't even remember whose house it was. No idea. And my mate at the time, we were just kind of like, what the fuck? And like, yeah, what the fuck? Whatever. Carried on with our night. So yeah, I think that's the nastiest thing I've ever eaten. Kelly M, why you cut your hair? Was it why did you cut your hair? So when I first started growing my hair, it was like 4 years ago, and I'd like just finished a breakup, and sort of was really like a significant moment in like my kind of self-improvement journey. And don't get me wrong, like I was still like a bit of a mess at that point. You know, it was when I was still drinking, and it was just kind of like I just wanted to do it because I was getting older. Um, you know, I'm fortunate that I've still got hair, so it was an opportunity to do it. And it was cool, like going through all these different stages of like, you know, when I first could put it in a top knot and like you know, wearing it down and stuff like that, and it was like fun, like when I first got long hair, and then I just started getting totally bored of like having to like make it look good, and that's why I ended up shaving all the sides and then just top knotting it. So I had it like in a top knot for so long, and it was just like pointless. Like other than like obviously it kind of looks cool to have a top knot, doesn't it? And you are kind of, people identify you with like certain things that you have, unique things that can make you stand out above other people. And that's probably, to be honest, like a big part of why I was doing it. Like, oh, look at me, like I'm so special. I need to look different to all other guys. I need to show off my snazzy hair, jeans, whatever. And I was just like, I don't know. I think like when I saw like other guys with long hair as well, I'd be like, something in me was like, is that a bit cringe? And because I suppose it's kind of, you can look at it different ways, but it's almost like signaling that like, it's a bit triad. Like I'm not okay with just having short hair like regular guys. Like I need to be the one with long hair. I'm so different. Do you know what I mean? And there's, you know, I've got nothing against other people who grow the hair or anything like that, but it's just like kind of, that's like, it held a mirror up to me in terms of probably why I was doing it. One of the things I was worried about was because I've been like building up this kind of like personal brand world, like this podcast thing, is people know you for that. So your brand is basically what people will say about you to like tell a friend about them or recommend you to a friend. So it might be, oh, if you listen to Jason's podcast, or Hyrox guy with a top knot or something like that. I don't know what people say. I can't. But maybe like if like, oh, I don't know if I know that guy, top knot guy. Oh, okay, yeah. So it allows people to identify you quicker, and it can be helpful to have a sort of like personal brand in that way. But I just didn't want to be. I'm trying not to say tied to it. I didn't want to be like imprisoned by my accessory that I have on my hair, and I would rather be known for like the stuff I do rather than like how I look. So it was just a bit of a I don't know. Honestly, I just fancied a change. Like, here's the thing. Like, do you know what I mean? I like to like explain away all things and really like go into the deepness of it all. But also, I just fancied a change. You'll notice like I'm always wearing black because I have terrible fashion sense. So I just don't want to have that decision to make in the morning. So I want like all my clothes are like black, white, sometimes grey. And not enough of my clothes are just plain black. Like I haven't done my full wardrobe. Like, I've still got some shorts that are like lighter colours or whatever. But like for me, I just want everything to be easy. So like black clothes, short hair, and then I can focus on other stuff that matters rather than like, oh, how do I look, or like messing around with how my hair looks and stuff like that. So that's why I cut my hair. Sam F says, death row meal. Okay, this is a good one. Probably wouldn't be anything you would expect. Like if I'm about to die, like I ain't bothered about my protein intake. Like who gives a shit? So there would be some carbs in there. So straight away, I'm like mashed potato, probably like a cheesy mash. Like me and my mum love a bit of cheesy mash. It's like proper comfort food. Maybe some beans. I feel like cheese, mash, beans, and sausage, like a real nice quality sausage, Cumberland or something. Got it. Like I think it would be poignant to have Cumberland. That would be great. Maybe a bit of gravy. Because I just want to I want that comfort feeling. You know, I'm about to like get hung or be injected or whatever. I want to feel comfortable. So just like fuckload of mash in my belly. And then is there anything else that I'd want? Like pudding or something? I don't think I'd want like a massive glucose spike when I'm about to get hung. So, but I'm tempted to be like, you know, cheesecake's nice. I'll tell you what. Like banoffee pie stroke banoffee cheesecake. There's some crossover there, isn't there? Like I don't know where one begins and the other one ends. But one of my ex-girlfriends, her mum made the most incredible banoffee pie. And it was like this like toffee layer thing on the bottom. It's just so good. So good. So I think I would go for that and hope that I didn't get like a big old glucose spike. And I'm like, but I'm not going to notice that. I'm going to have like such an adrenaline rush. So yeah, I'm just full of like mash, cheesy sugar. Have you noticed there two cheese options? Cheesy mash, cheesecake. Oh, banoffee pie. It's kind of like a cheesecake, right? I wonder if there is cheesecake in it. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, that's my death row meal. Oh, what I'm gonna have to drink? Full fat Coke, definitely full fat Coke. Anything else? No, all good. Maybe a bit of chili sauce. No, no. Full fat Coke, salt and pepper. All right, awesome. Thank you. Great question. Shannon K, how is Hyrox Pro prep going? Good. I recently did a Hyrox simulation a couple of weeks ago, although that wasn't Hyrox Pro. But one of the things that I gathered from that was that my strength is really good on the stations. My running isn't very good, but that totally tracks with all the work that we've been doing pre-season, off-season, me and Paddy. And I think, yeah, I feel good. I do feel very strong. And like my advantage is running. So I know that my running is going to get better. Like that will happen once I start doing more intervals and stuff. And we started intervals last week. So that's all going to get better. I don't know whether trying to get to Worlds is a bridge too far yet. We'll see, but that's the goal this season. Like, let's fucking go. Got to shoot for the moon, haven't you? So yeah, all good. And I do feel like because I sort of started my off-season work very quickly after District L, which was it June? Yeah, so like I was doing off-season while the World Champs was going on. So I feel like people who did World Champs, like I've maybe got a little bit of an edge on them, other than them being faster than me, because I've started so early. Like it feels like I've been been training like for Hyrox quite a long time, and it's only August. First race is October. So yeah, so it's going good. Thank you. I've not been looking forward to this one. Mila E, if you were a woman, what type of woman would you be and why? This is so hard to answer because it's like I can't imagine what it'd be like to be a woman. So I'm like, I suppose I would maybe I would let's imagine I'm the type of woman that I would like to be with, because that would like kind of make sense with my genetics. I don't know. Like so like what I see is like good qualities in a woman. That would make sense, wouldn't it? So um I would be like a real nice blend of femininity, but like also like having a backbone as well and having something about you. Like not necessarily like the absolutely crushing it, career above family, I don't want to have kids kind of type. Not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with that. Like everyone's like do what you want to do in your own life. But I really like believe in like family and having children. It's it is my main life goal. Um so yeah, so sorry, I'm a woman now. So yeah, so it'll be like doing like good career and stuff. Um but like very maternal, and maybe ideally I'd like settle down. I'd have like 2 or 3 kids. I'd be into like the gym and stuff, maybe into Hyrox. And I'd have like maybe like a little side business or like a part-time thing so that I can have time to raise my children in a loving household, so they grow up being like secure, loved children and have like a great start in life. But also like not become just like a robot or robot, like, but not become just like a kitchen wench. because that's no life, is it? So it'd be like a nice blend of like traditional with like modern values like plugged in there as well. So that's the sort of woman I'd like to be with. Shannon's back. Shannon K, tell us your pre-workout drink concoction to get fast. It's not that exciting. And to get fast, you need to train very hard, as you know. But what goes in? So it would be water plus electrolytes plus probably 10 grams of creatine plus 5 grams of beta alanine plus I have this bulk hydration mix. So it's a bit like a powdered Lucozade, but with like some B vitamins and a bit more electrolytes. And I'll probably put like 1.5 scoops in that. So that's probably about 50 grams of carbohydrate. And citrulline malate that goes in as well. That's more like a strengthy thing, but I just have the same things before I work out, so I don't know whether it's going to be helping my running. Probably the same with creatine, a little bit of like that short burst of energy, but like endurance wise, probably not going to make much difference. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I sometimes have cordyceps. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's everything. Or like I sometimes do the beetroot thing, like close to a race, beetroot shots or whatever. So that'll go in. Disgusting though. Tastes like blood. It's like very. I guess it's rich in iron. Kind of weird taste. So yeah, that's it. Shannon also asked, "What's the craziest thing you've ever done in your life?" I suppose, and she knows this one, to be fair, it probably will be Naked Attraction going on that show. Like, that is pretty crazy. Most people know about it by now. But what else? Like, I've done some pretty crazy shit in my life. I would say, like, alongside that, but this is a different one. Probably the decision to quit a very highly paid job where I was going places, sell my house, break up with a girlfriend, alter, go traveling when I was like 27. Probably like that's pretty wild. Because you know I think I would definitely be more financially well off now, like 100%. Where I would be mentally and spiritually and creatively would be another matter. But I think I spotted the kind of, it's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? But I spotted like the trajectory that I was on, and although I like the money and the car and stuff like that, it just like something was crying out that like I wanted to go traveling as well. Like I'd never done that before, and I look at that gave me the opportunity to like break out of that job, go traveling, start my own business, fail at many things, start podcasts, YouTube channels, like all these different kind of creative endeavors that I know, like within that old role, there was no space for anything else. It was, I would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then home at 6 o'clock at night, and often working weekends, and there was just nothing in between. I did play like some music and a bit of football or whatever, but like it was hard to do anything else because it was just so all encompassing and quite a toxic kind of like just that classic hustle environment. Like you just need to work a million hours to make money, and yeah, I just didn't like the way that it was that my life was going. But when I say it was one of the craziest things, because I knew there was going to be a cost to me doing that, and that has been borne out. Like, yeah, like financially, I definitely would be better off if I'd have stayed and done that. But I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do all this other stuff. This was the same employer that, like, when I left, was basically said something along the lines of, "You do realize you'll never make this money ever again in your life," which is like a pretty wild thing to say to someone, isn't it? So yeah, so that's one of those two: naked attraction or quitting a very well-paid job and life to travel around the world and fail at lots of stuff. John K says, any productivity hacks you're having success with right now? Well, I mentioned like the morning routine, so obviously that's kind of a productivity hack. And then it would be probably like keeping up with habits. So if you're listening to the podcast and you know, like, I launched this habit building tool, which I created myself. Like, so I created the thing that I needed. So one of the things that I've always struggled with is, if no one's kind of like watching what I'm doing, then I'll just like fuck it off. It's like that classic accountability, having a coach that you can check in with. Like, I can be like that sometimes with like tasks and stuff, unless it's like hardwired in or there's like baked in. Like the podcast is a really good one, actually, because I publish every Monday. That is the public accountability. So it means that all the other stuff that is involved in doing the podcast gets done because I've kind of got that. But the other stuff, the day-to-day stuff, I just need a little bit more oversight. So in fact, like, I'll show you. So it's called In Deep. So this is my In Deep dashboard. So it basically just has all my habits in here in these like tiles. And I've got like different views. So I've got focus mode, so I can kind of use it as like almost like a playlist. So morning walk, and then I can mark that. I didn't do that this morning, actually. Write down and share the most essential tasks for the day. And then we have like different views, but here I've got like a public note. So my public note next to the write down and share the most important task is record AMA, which I'm doing now. So I can actually, so if I check that off, boom, that's done. And then you've got all these other bits of progress and stuff. But the cool thing is this public view. So anyone can look at this. So if you went to indeep.com/awaken out of Jason, you can look down here and you can, Jason's done 2 and he's got 9 incomplete. And it's like, Jason's working on today's habits. Accountability alert, he's missed 9 habits. Take a screenshot and tag him to hold him accountable. So if you're watching this, go to indeep.com/awaken out of Jason, see what I'm doing. And if I've missed anything, if I've not done any of my habits, tag me on socials and tell me to get to work. That's the intention. So I've got like lots more to develop on this, but it's very cool, and I'm really pleased with what I've done. I've got here, I can see what people I follow have done as well. Well done, Ben. So yeah, that's the tool. And yeah, if you go to indeep.com/podcast, you can claim your free VIP month. There's always going to be a free version available, but I'm just figuring out at the moment like how I'm going to, whether I'm going to introduce like a premium VIP plan or something. If there's anything on there that you would like to see in terms of features or whatever, let me know and I can add it in. I think probably at some point I would like to like turn it into like a bit of a course on just like productivity and goals in general. So yeah, that's something that's definitely been helping me like just stick to making sure I hit like the main things that I need to get done every day to be successful and productive. Rusha L says, when are you bringing back the ice bath diaries? No plans to bring it back at the moment. I think, I don't know, maybe I'm just being soft. I just know like once I go down that route, it then becomes I've got to do it every day, and it's a lot. Like that battle first thing in the morning, like when it's cold outside or whether it's snowy or icy, like that is rough. And right now, I'm just not willing to deal with it. Like I think I've got other things that I'm trying to get done, but I don't know. Talking about it now, I feel like I'm just copping out. So maybe I need to get it done at some point, and this will probably set forth like a thing going in my mind. And who knows, next minute you'll see me doing it. Whether I'll be doing bath, whether I'll be doing a diary, or whether I'll just do it and not tell anyone. Is that possible, Jason? Whether I'll do it and just not tell anyone, I don't know, but we'll see. Ruche also asks, you're stuck on a desert island, you get one phone call, who is it and why? And also, why isn't it Nadia? Referring to Nadia Lasbeck, who's been a friend on the show. I love this question because you may have heard it as well. I think it's George Mack was talking about it on Modern Wisdom podcast, and it's like he talks about high agency. So, and it's like this question, like you get one phone call, who do you choose? That person is basically the highest agency within your life. Agency, being able to just get shit done. So I think it would be Andy Allen. Definitely. I mean, there are obviously like I've got lots of other friends, but he just always just like springs to mind as like someone who is just able to make things happen. Like I'm in such admiration of Andy's like just ability to just execute, and like if he wants to do something, he'll do it. Broke the Guinness World Record for the most weight lifted via kettlebell clean and press. We have 2 podcast recordings. Well, actually 4 episodes because they were both very long. Me and Andy. So if you don't know Andy's my cousin as well. So you want to go and check out some of those episodes. Just like an awesome friend, and yeah, he would move heaven and earth. I'm sure he would. To get me off that desert island. And it's not to say that there isn't other people in my life that would do that as well, but he just springs to mind as just being this absolute amazing operator in life, and I'm very proud to call him my friend and family member. So there you go, it's Andy. Right. Nadia says, why vanilla? So she's referring to one of the conversations we had. So she's a sexual therapist, if anyone's not heard her on the podcast before. And we talk about like kinkiness and stuff. And I was like, feel like I'm pretty vanilla. And she's brought this up a few times, like, oh, like what does that say about you? And I'm like, I see it as like I don't know, like a positive. Like, not to say it's a negative that if you're not vanilla, but I'm like, oh no, I'm just like, I don't feel a need to be doing anything like super kinky or whatever. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm all about uh like sensuality, and of course, like, like other things as well. And like there are times where you might get like a little bit more rough in the bedroom, but it would never be like rough. Do you know what I mean? Rough. It would never be like, yeah, dressing up like pretending you're a dog or something like that. Or, do you know what I mean? Or when I see like talk about like spitting in mouths and stuff, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. So, but I've never ever had any complaints, and quite the contrary. Like, I'm very happy with my performance in the bedroom, and I'm sure my lovers would say the same. So, I'm quite happy being sort of like, yeah, like sensual vanilla, Madagascan vanilla. That's what I'm going to be. So, thank you for that awkward question. Liam H says, headphones or no headphones in the gym or out walking? So I love listening to podcasts and music and books. So I spend a lot of time with my headphones on, but I try to make sure I've got them on in the right places, and use them as a bit of a tool for when I really need them. So if I'm in the gym, pretty much never wear headphones in the gym these days. I think there's something about being present with the exercise and like not having the music as like a cope. Like you have to have music, because what's happening with that is then you're relying on an external factor to be able to motivate you to train hard or work out well. And then if you've ever, well, we get this all the time. We just get like fatigue from listening to the same stuff over and over again. So if you get to the gym and you're like, fucking hell, you can't think of what to put on. Like that song's annoying you. You've listened to it a million times. Then it's going to affect your workout. So what I would rather do is just like remove that and have that as one less variable that I've got to worry about when I'm training. And I think it just comes down to like discipline as well. Kind of like, last night I was thinking, like doing these really like boring single leg exercises and stuff, and there's some kind of like weird beauty in just like focusing on the exercise and getting through the mundanity of it. And but it is nice to have it occasionally as an option. I mean, quite often, to be fair, I'll if I'm doing conditioning sessions, quite often the gym is closed, so I can put some music on anyways. But that's not like headphones; it's just the gym music, so I'll just put it on if it's on. But or like if I'm doing a really hard conditioning workout, maybe I'm really tired, then I can go right, headphones in. It's Metallica, it's Avenged Sevenfold. It's something that's going to really get me G'd up, so that's good. Out walking, pretty much without headphones, even though sometimes it's so boring. But I just think it's really important for your mind to allow the space to just like do boring shit. So, like going for a walk around the block or whatever, however boring it may be, like you've got two things that may happen on that walk, like internally, what I can think of. So, you have like lots of thoughts coming up. So that's good because you need to process those things. Because if you don't process those thoughts that are coming up, guess where they're going to hit you? They're going to hit you when you land in bed and trying to sleep. So what you need to do is have those thoughts come up earlier in the day so that you're not going to get that kind of like bounce back of like thoughts coming into your mind when you fall asleep. And then the other option is if you don't think of anything while you're out on your walk and you're kind of just bored and looking at the scenery or whatever, then that's cool. That's probably a good thing that like your mind is kind of like probably content. I think we need more boredom to just allow our brains to give the space. However, I'm not perfect, and on occasion, like maybe if I've got like no motivation, I really don't want to go out for a walk or something, I'll find a cool podcast. I'll download it and I'll take my phone that doesn't have a SIM card with me. I don't really like taking my normal phone with me out on walks because I'll just get involved in it. So yeah, so that's it. So I would, if you are, another thing to notice actually, so like say you are like out on a walk and you've got your headphones in, or you're in the gym and you've got your headphones in, or maybe you're in the car and you've got music on. One of the things that you want to develop is like the self-awareness to notice when your brain is looking to think. So it's kind of, it's hard to spot, but once you notice it, you'll be like walking along and you're listening to something, and then all of a sudden like your mind drifts off, you're like fucking hell, and then you've got to rewind it. Well, and then if that keeps happening over and over and over, it's probably suggesting that your brain is wanting to like wander off and do like think about something. Or you might just notice like a weird tension where you're kind of not enjoying the podcast or the music and you can't put your finger on it. I would suggest at that point pausing it. So quite often I'll just like pause the little button on my headphones and then just walk along. And then you might be like, oh, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. And then after about like 10 seconds, it'll just be like, bing, and like an idea will come in or something that you needed to remember. We are such a complex organism, like this perfect makeup of genetics and stuff that goes back fucking hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. And our like biology is designed for this, to be coming up with solutions all the time. It's always working in the background on problems that you have that you're trying to solve. So allow that, pay attention. And if you're not able to spot that, and you're like, I can't fucking build that awareness, start meditating. Meditate for 1 minute a day. Start with that habit and try and build it up. And eventually you'll get to the point where, like I've been doing more or less 10 minutes a day for the last like 8 to 10 years, something like that. Sometimes I've not done it, like gone through periods of not doing it, but more or less every day. And that's how you develop self-awareness and understanding your mind better. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on headphones. JS says, are you okay, mate? Now, I wasn't going to put this in. Shay's a close friend of mine. Because I messaged him. I'm like, why are you sending me that? And he's like, I'm just checking if you're okay. And I was like, I can't tell if you're taking the piss. Because I didn't know if it was like, you okay, hun? Like, are you okay? Shay's a bit of a piss taker. But I will answer it. Am I okay? Yes. Like, I'm really good, in fact. The last like 5 or 6 weeks have been some of the most emotionally stable periods of the last few years. I just, quite often, my pattern over the last few years have been kind of like, like highs and then lows and highs and then lows. And there is some of that. And I mentioned this before about caffeine, and just trying to manage those peaks, not like charging too hard, because when that happens, inevitably there will be a drop. So whether it's like the Hyrox, go to the Hyrox class on a Saturday morning, loads and loads of caffeine, and then dip afterwards. And I've spoken about this before, but I think that's a big part of it. I'm also, I've been back in therapy for a little bit, which is helpful to have that kind of weekly, someone to talk to if there's like, and process things. But quite a lot of the time, and it almost feels like not a waste of money, but quite a lot of the time now I'm just like, yeah, like things are great. I'm doing this. And like, but also like, it's good to acknowledge the good things you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, life feels good. I feel like I'm getting stuff done. I feel like I've got direction and purpose. I know not exactly, but I know where I'm heading. I've never been so productive in all my life. And yeah, like, would it be nice if I've met someone? Yes. That's like the missing piece, probably. But I ain't rushing it. It's just one of those things. Like, if someone comes along, they come along. And yeah, but they've got to make my life better and be like ready to receive love. Because I can't be asked like fucking around like with just like casual or like, you know, was it on like the Tinder profile where it's like what you're looking for and it's like trying to figure it out. Red flag. Red flag. So although those women are usually more attractive, I'm like, trying to figure it out. Inconsistency, hot. But yeah, I ain't getting involved in that. So I think I'm getting better as well at like, like coming across people's profiles where like, oh, she looks like trouble. So yes, well, like there's something exciting about that. Whereas where I see that now, I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. I'm like trying to find someone who is just like ready for what I'm ready for, secure within themselves, ready to start a family at some point or whatever. Not on day one, obviously, but yeah. So I'm all right, mate. Thank you for asking. Dave E says, if you could only do 5 habits for the rest of your life, what would they be and why? So this is obviously something I ask my guests at the end. At the end of each episode at the moment. It's weird actually because I've not really thought about it. So for the rest of my life, so there's obviously got to be some movement in there. So it would be 10,000 steps, I think. Or, yeah, so 10,000 steps. I would follow my training plan, whatever that is. It's like today's a rest day, so I'm still following it. Then I would need something to do with like creativity. So I think it would be I've definitely got to have a meditation in there. Okay, so we've got meditation, workout, walking, and then it would be just that like 2 hours of deep work. So writing, undistracted, focused work. So 4. So if I can only do 5, so if I only did that, would my life fall apart? No social connections, no family. So it would be like spend time with a friend or family member. Ideally spend time with them. If not, call them up. So I've got friends and family. So I'd still be operating well in work because I'm doing my deep work. I'm still physically fit and active. Diet. I'm doing anything about diet. So technically, I could eat a lot of cheeseburgers. Okay, I'm going to drop the walking. Controversial because I've already got the gym. So I'm going to drop walking and I'm going to have like, I want to say like hit my macros. I would say just like, I feel like gut microbiome is probably the most important thing, and maybe protein. So it'd just be like, like 5 to 8 different colors of like fruits and veggies, and then protein. Like, so just like hit my hit my nutrition plan from the day. Okay, there we go. And then I will have my nutrition plan in my head. Because like with my programming with Paddy, like we have macros and stuff. So just be that. Yeah, follow that. So yeah, so I've got, and then, God, we've not done anything about sleep. Just have to. This is a flawed question. Who developed this, Jason? Gym, food, social connections, deep work. What's the other one? What's the other one? Deep work. Oh, meditation. Oh, I feel like I've got to drop one. I would say maybe I'd drop meditation for going to bed on time, which that is a tough one. Like, I might have to change this to 6 habits because I don't want to drop my meditation. So, you know the score. Those are my 5, but it should really be 6. So I might actually change that question. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Good question. Ruche L again. Have you seen Virgin Island on Channel 4? Would you go on it? No, haven't. What is it? Channel Virgin Island reality show. Oh, very funny. Virgin Island. More people are remaining virgins for longer, but now 12 courageous adult virgins embark on a unique intimacy course at a luxury Mediterranean retreat to overcome their intimacy anxiety. Ha ha ha. It does look quite interesting, actually. I don't think I would qualify, though, would I? So, no, I couldn't go on it, but it does look interesting, so might have to check that one out. But I'm trying to watch less telly, to be honest, and especially reality TV is not up there. For someone who's like been on a reality TV show, I don't like it. Although I have a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Occasionally, I'll watch what's it called, Married at First Sight. But honestly, even that like does my head in because you've got all the recaps. You know, like the recaps where it makes you feel like a complete moron, and it's like all the dramatic music. I'm like, I don't need the recap. I'm not an idiot. I'm here to watch the program. Stop telling me what's happened. But yeah. So no, not seen that one. Tony A says, when are you going to start releasing 2 episodes a week? It is hard just to do one. Because I've got like a full-time job at the agency, I would say probably have to be like when I'm able to drop a day there. And probably like I need to find out like a bit. I need to work out a way to like monetize the podcast some way. So if you have any ideas, like please let me know. One of the things, like I'm trying to think of like creative ways that I can possibly get some income, which would allow me to be able to do more podcast work. Like you know, create a partnerships, or I don't know, or whether people would like tell me like if there's something that you like you think would be a good idea, or there's something that you would pay me for, message me. Like I was thinking about doing just like where people can pay to have like a consultancy session, like a coaching session. I don't know, people might want that. Like I've got like an awful lot of random knowledge across quite a lot of stuff. I quite often help a lot of people with who are starting businesses and stuff. I quite often will give them advice and stuff, like strategic advice. and stuff like that, and obviously podcasting. So, but I don't want to be like this, like cringy, like shilling for fucking money podcaster. But I would like to do this more. So if it can wash its face, as they would say in business, then that would be amazing. So I don't know, but I've also been thinking at some point maybe I need to do like a little bit higher production. Maybe like not every episode, but maybe do the occasional like in person or something like on a bit of a bigger scale. Like I was thinking maybe doing something outdoors. So watch this space that might come, and then because I believe if I do like one-off episodes like that, I might get a little bit more of an influx of followers, and then they'll come on board and watch some of the other stuff which is just online. And the growth actually has been pretty interesting on the podcast. So like I looked at, I don't like to look at the analytics, to be honest. I just publish and I'm like, whatever, we'll just see how it goes. And if I look at like, say, if I look at a snapshot of like the last like 4 months or something, it would look like on a growth trajectory that like my growth was like down. And then, but then if you do a wider perspective and look at like this Donald Trump with my hands, if you do like a wider perspective, like the last 12 months, then what you'll see is even though now like right now I'm in a little bit of a dip, that dip is still twice as many downloads as any month last year. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. So yeah, so there's definitely like signs that things are going in the right direction. So if that continues and I can start to grow a bit more and get some money in, then I will start doing 2 episodes. Or rather than 2 episodes, I might just do like more higher quality episodes because I want this to be something that I still enjoy. And yeah, so thank you for that question. Ricky B says, what's the best bit of advice you've been given that's had the most impact on you? This is tough. Like, it's hard to like think of anything. I suppose that back in the day, you would be like, there would be like a select number of people that you probably got advice from, be like your parents or your teachers or I don't know, like the people you work with. But now because of like podcasting, you just have so much stuff coming in, don't you? Like self-improvement, like podcasts like this and books and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff, and it's trying to find out which one of those is like had most of an effect. I suppose if I looked at my life now and was like, what's the one through point throughout everything that's making the most impact on what I'm doing, and where did that come from? So like, okay, so I've got two thoughts on this. So in terms of like advice that I'm probably putting out into the world and that I've really like picked up and rolled with would be just like that importance of just like reps in the tank, just over and over again, publishing podcasts weekly, going to the gym, showing up for various things just over and over again, that discipline. And that's probably come from like the podcasting world and like the like sort of like modern philosophy space. So it'd be like Ryan Holiday, who talks about discipline with stoicism and stuff. But it also like someone like Joe Rogan, talks about building a skill is like what do you say, like creating a mountain with layers of paint, like just like turning up every day. And yeah, probably like in all of that kind of podcast space is slightly kind of ancestral, for want of a better term. They all kind of say like the same thing, but that's probably allowed it to like really enter my subconscious. And yeah, and the podcast serves as a bit of a personal growth vehicle in that I'm constantly turning up and doing those things. Obviously, it would be like remiss of me to not think about like the impact that those close to me have had on me, and the actual like advice I've been given. I would say, I wouldn't say it'd be like advice I've been given, but that I've been picked up would be probably just like my dad. Um, Probably had the most impact on me, like how I show up in terms of like in my professional life, anyways. Like um, I used to, I was always like at work with him, and my dad was the general manager of a very successful furniture business, and he was there for like nearly 50 years, and basically ran it as his own. And he used to, I'd just be always in work with him, following him around, you know, like Saturday afternoons or something. And then I worked there as well when for quite a long time. But I would just, because of that, I just like would just pick up on his mannerisms and stuff, and the way that he had just like this authority in dealing with staff, customers, suppliers. Like he was just so, and is like just very calm. He'd just like sit there and listen, and he was always like so good at just kind of saying it as it is. Like he wasn't one for like, you know, like the whole charm offensive stuff. It would just he would just kind of like, he had this really good has this way of just taking all points of view and just kind of like, okay, so like this is how I see it, and just laying it all out on the table. And he was also a very good salesman, and I picked that up on him as well. Like just kind of laying out the facts, looking at the options, and you know, presenting them to people in the best way possible. And yeah, so definitely, Dad had a huge impact on like how I show up. So thanks, Dad. Kunsha S says, "How do you maintain a balanced diet?" Um, well, I guess these days, at the moment, because I'm with Paddy Matt and he helps me with my training and nutrition, probably that's like the biggest lever in terms of just having that oversight. I've always been pretty good, anyways. Like, so I think your philosophy is a big thing in it. So, like, I think I've just got this the idea of like eating processed foods and stuff is so, I'm just not interested. Um, Obviously, I have occasions where like whatever, I'll eat a lot of ice cream or whatever, but in general, just my whole philosophy in life is just like I want to live as long as possible. I want a brain to be as healthy as possible, and that's been shaped by seeing, you know, grandparents suffer with dementia and dying of cancer and stuff like that, and I sort of use that and alchemize that pain of loss to be like, I want to make sure like I'm protected as much as possible for that. And my one grandparent that's still alive, uh, he's the opposite. Like, I like use it as an inspiration to like, you know, he doesn't eat processed food, and yeah, so I just, it doesn't. I never like, you know, when I finish an event or something, I never like crave a Chinese. You know, some people are like, oh, I can have a Chinese tonight. I can have an Indian or whatever. Like, I literally don't care about that. And it's not because I'm like, I don't want to have a treat. I just don't really enjoy it. I enjoy really nutritious. I can have like high fat foods and high sugar foods, but it's very rarely like there's like full of like really bad stuff. I just want, I don't know, just like tasty food that like nourishes me. So I guess like that's like you have to have you have to develop an overall kind of philosophy into like, why are you doing this? Why are you on this planet? Do you want to be here for a long time, or like do you want to die early? So, and with obviously there has to be balance there, but like bad habits like smoking or vaping or other things or alcohol, and it's like okay, look at the balance here. Like, okay, so maybe if you're a smoker, maybe that allows you to be more social or something. Smoking's terrible, by the way, so I'm not saying that anyone should go smoking, but there is a balance to be had, and only you will know that. You will know intrinsically, like if you're overdoing something or if you're not, or if it's just an occasional, maybe you have a little bit of a vape when you're on a stag do or something. Like, that's me basically. Not great, don't like it. But if it stops you from like drinking or whatever, or then it's fine. But I realize we're talking about diet. So I think having the philosophy first and then having some oversight is really helpful. So I send Paddy a screenshot of my calories every single day, and that allows me to just stay a bit accountable, provided, because my thing is basically just overeating, uh, or sometimes even like the other way, like undereating and just kind of not hitting stuff. But mainly it's overeating, so I'll just make sure that I'm not doing that. But in terms of the actual foods that I eat, because there's that whole thing of like, if it fits your macros, right? And you can hit your carbs, your fats and stuff, and whether you eat McDonald's or whatever, it doesn't matter. And that's where the philosophy comes in. So I've got philosophy that I don't want to be eating all that shit, and then I've got like guardrails of being like 200 grams of protein, 500 grams of carbs, a lot, right? And 80 grams of fat a day, and I hit all those. And yeah, so that helps. Any other tips? You just need some sort of oversight, and you could use a habit tool like Indeep. Put in your things in there, just like, have I hit my protein goal? Have I hit my calorie goal? Have I not eaten processed food? Have I had um, 30 grams of fiber? There's this cool study where the more, is it for every 10 grams of fiber, you like add like a year onto your life expectancy or more, something like that. Crazy. Fiber is, they're still learning more and more about fiber, and if you know anything about like microplastics as well, the best thing to actually detoxify your body from microplastics that we all consume is actually fiber. Allows it to like travel through the gut and then be excreted out. So fiber is a really good one. And then if you had your habits in a tool like Indeep, it's probably the only tool, to be fair. And then you could add that in your link in bio, and then tell people to like keep an eye on you, make sure you're hitting your stuff, or just send like a screenshot to a friend. But yeah, try and find a community of people that have the same types of values, and find a way to connect with them and hold each other accountable. There you go. Good luck. Let me know how you get on with your diet. Andy L. If you could do any job in the world, what would it be and why? I think for quite a selfish person, I would say I do really like I do really like helping people. So I've always thought like I'd love to teach. I wanted to teach when I was younger. I wanted to teach music. And I guess like, you can probably see from this, like I started a podcast to learn from other people, but there is another aspect to this, which is me kind of giving out knowledge. And this is why I do these AMAs. Like, not that I'm an expert or anything, but I do have some insights into various things, and I like to share them with you. And I think I love that. I like, so it would probably like, if I could just be anything, I think I would love to be a coach, of some form. Where, probably like I'd love to be an athlete coach. Like I'd love that, to work with professional athletes or something. I believe it's too late in my life to really get to that level. But maybe, I mean, this is bringing up something for me now. Maybe I've been constantly like thinking, oh, maybe I should like volunteer, like do a day a week at the gym or something, try and get my coaching badges. Um, but would it just ruin? Would it just turn into a what do you call it, like busman's holiday? Like I see some people and they're just so disillusioned with the fitness industry, but I think a lot of that comes from like the online space, and like you're constantly having to put content out all the time, and everyone's looking at each other's content to get ideas and regurgitating things. And then don't get me started on chat gpt content for fitness influencers. But I think when it comes down to it, like that human contact, and when I see other coaches like in the gym, whether it be Matty or Paddy or Craig or other people that I know, like it's just, or Vicky, like there's, I don't know, like it just looks such a good job, and how much that's helped me change my life. Like I would love to give that to other people, and like as you can tell, like I'm pretty comfortable with bossing people around, telling what to do. Um, so yeah, probably like a real high level coach. But then I raise the question, like, why aren't you doing that, Jason? Um, don't know. It feels too late in life, and feels like I wouldn't be able to afford to live. but it's something I think about a lot. So maybe watch the space. Maybe I'll start training or something. Training to be a trainer. Thank you. Good question. Either that, I'd be like David Attenborough, the new David Attenborough. I'd fucking buzz off that. Here in Africa. Okay. Jen, sorry, I'm thinking about David Attenborough impressions. Jade B, do you miss the hair? No. Nope, 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 nope. As soon as I got it cut, it was just like, I can get rid of that now. Like, and I mentioned this before about the whole personal branding thing, and I was actually watching a thing with someone who used to work for Stephen Bartlett, Diary of the CEO, and she said about like early on in his career, used to wear this like his hair in a certain way or something, and it was like really recognizable. And she was like, people don't realize the importance of that in like personal branding and stuff like that. And I just cut my hair, and I was like, fucking hell. I feel like that's obviously a thing, but nah, like as far as I'm concerned, like I'm not gonna go down that route of like thinking that I need to have long hair. It's like, if anything, it makes me more inspired to like actually create something that is impactful regardless of visual aesthetic, right? And of course, like, we all want to look good and stuff, but I don't know. So that's enough. Lots of hair stuff there. So thanks, Jade. Louis V, I'm still pissed off you chopped your hair off. We've had this discussion. Sorry, mate. I had to go. Tom B, what advice would you give to someone looking to start a podcast? Well, if you are someone who can deal with discomfort for a very long time, then do it. Like if you can deal with the fact that you're probably never going to make a living out of it, or happy with waiting 5 years, then do it. But it depends why you want to do it. If you're looking to do it because you're like curious and interested in learning stuff and broadening your network and stuff like that, then just go for it. Like do what I did and just start reaching out to people, and then you'll still soon start building up episodes. If you're looking to do it as a career, then you definitely don't want to do what I've done. So I would start with a niche. So pick a niche that's uncrowded. There is a good book about called Blue Ocean Strategy, and it's about competition and stuff. And you basically just want to be like the only person within the industry. That'll give you a competitive advantage. So starting with a niche or something that's uncrowded, and then just like, let's say you were doing, I don't know, HRV, and then I would reach out to like 10 experts on HRV or athletes or something, and then get them all like in the bank and just say, I'm starting a new podcast on HRV. I'd like you to be one of the first guests. But like, so like always having like a bit of a theme always helps me, like reaching out to guests, like why you're looking to get into a certain topic. And then I would get them in the bank, and then I would just like publish. Maybe to begin with, because you can do like a bit of a growth hack, algorithm hack thing. You could do like 1 to 2 episodes a week or 3 episodes a week, because what you're looking for is Spotify or YouTube will be like, oh, new channel. What does the channel do? Okay, HRV, like have your niche. And then it's like, oh, it's putting out all this content about one topic. So it will just fly you up the algorithm. And people can like, I've heard of like people getting into like the top 10 in like podcast charts, like from like on their launch, and they've not had any funding or anything like that, or no audience to back it. So that's what I'd do if you're looking to do it. But honestly, just how comfortable are you with, if you're doing weekly, losing on average at least 2 days a week to this labor of love for quite a long time, if you're happy with that. And like when I first started, it was more than 2 days, like things would take me like a week to do like one episode, because you're still learning. So like these days now, it's like probably like 1 to 2 days work for one podcast a week. So yeah, it's just whether you're willing to do that. It's hard, and the editing and stuff isn't very fun. The conversations are great, doing these are fun, but all the other stuff is time consuming and is tiring when you've got another job to do. But I wish you the best of luck. Message me if you need any more advice. Joey W, are you your hair? More hair stuff. Talking about it is making me feel like maybe I am my hair, but it's probably my fault, because the thing I put on Instagram was like me holding my ponytail. But I think no, I've said enough on that. Anyways, like sorry, like I've answered a lot of hair questions, so I don't want to go on about it. But absolutely not. Yeah, thank you, mate. Gonna have to start wrapping this up shortly. That like we've been going for a long time. Let's do a few more. James T, do you believe in life after death? Not sure. I think it's so easy for us to assume that we know everything based on the like container of reality that we find ourselves within. So it's like, of course, like we couldn't conceptualize anything outside of that. The only reason that we can conceptualize things like the universe is obviously we can see them, but we've got telescopes and science and stuff. So we're able to see that, which then probably gives us a false identity that we know everything. But then, like, what about the thing outside the universe? Like, it's impossible for us to go that far. And I heard the other day, like, even the aren't they saying now that like the Big Bang thing is potentially flawed? I don't know. I've not looked into that. But so I think like you could conceive that there would be like this like Russian doll effect of like uh universes within universes within universes within universes, like, and it could just go on forever. But then what's outside of this? Like, you don't know. And like when we're talking about things like, I've had some experiences with like psychedelic experiences. Not that I would recommend that to anyone necessarily. And I've found myself in a quite remarkable state where I've just been like feeling like I'm with my ancestors, with my relatives that have passed, but like I couldn't see them, but I could feel like their soul. Like I couldn't hear them necessarily. It was like I was with their presence. Really powerful stuff. Quite quite life changing, to be honest. And that really made me think that maybe just things aren't how we think they are. And one of the things, it's interesting that you asked this because I've been thinking maybe I need to be like a bit more spiritual. Um, like one of the things that probably the one thing I struggle with at the moment is like handling stress at work. Like I'm probably better than most, but still, like it does feel like some days like really pretty intense. And I've been thinking like, how can I find a way to like lessen the grasp on like needing things to be a certain way or achieving things in a certain way. And like if I had like a faith in a god, or that there was something after this, then like all of this like wouldn't matter. But and I mean that in the most freeing way. Like you can just like turn up and just do your thing and just be kind of let things like wash over you and not like hold on to things so much. Um, so what was the question? Do you believe in life after death? Um, I think if you put a gun to my head and said, okay, what do you believe? I would say, I think that there is something after death, but I don't think it'd be anything. I don't think necessarily it's like, oh, look, there's Nana. I don't think it's like that. I think it would be more like kind of what I've seen in this psychedelic kind of vision would be just like we're all there, like everyone is one. So like I am my nana, I am my granddad, I am like we're all just there in this like milieu of fucking hell. Oh, I was gonna get emotional then. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Just there together forever. um Yeah, it's so weird, isn't it? It's so weird being alive. But I do think on like a type A go getter side of things as well, like you see people that take part in like prayer and like I feel like most of the like Christians in the world are pretty successful. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't like often see. I mean, yes, you do, I suppose, but like quite a lot of people who do like really well, like they have like certain traits. So they have like faith. They go to the gym. They meditate, and there's all these things. And I know we shouldn't do things because of the outcome. We should do them for the thing, but it is a nice other way to give you a little bit more incentive that like maybe I should like look at this. Like what would be the worst thing like if I started like a prayer practice, like if nothing else it's just a time away from my phone or a time to reflect on things. And I probably do this in a certain way anyways. Like sometimes I'll do meditation exercises and I will think about I'll do like loving kindness where I like think about someone that I love and visualize them like happy and I'm wishing them well. Or and you can sometimes do this with people that you have difficult relationships with or that you don't like as well. The idea is that you don't tell them about it. um I realize I'm telling you, but I've not told the actual person. You just kind of wish them well, and then kind of like you've done something good in the world, and because you've not gone around like, hey, look, I was wishing you well this morning during meditation. But anyways, so that's my thoughts. Okay, a few more. Dave F. Vitamins, many separate or one big one? Um, so this probably ties in with like the diet thing, actually, balanced diet. So I use an app called Chronometer, Chronom meter. Uh, and what that does is it will give you a breakdown of the different micronutrients and macronutrients within what you're tracking. So what you can do is like most people follow, like if not daily, like weekly patterns in the type of stuff that they're eating. So what you can do is you can do like a 7-day report, look back on it, and you'll see like where you're falling low or high. So for me, like probably like the worst thing I like for me at the moment, I'm terrible at like vitamin A and vitamin K, which is like vitamin A is like quite a lot of like oranges, so like sweet potato, like carrots. Vitamin K is dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, etc. And zinc. So I'm a little bit low on zinc. So I take a specific zinc supplement, which is supposed to be good for testosterone anyways. So I will take that. And then vitamin A and K, to be fair, um, I've not ordered the supplement because I know that I need to eat them. So right now I'm getting neither, but I don't want to order the vitamins because this, like, if I start doing that, then I'll be like, oh, it's fine. I can just take my vitamins. So, and I realize with the zinc one, but I don't know, zinc feels slightly different, but like we should be having dark leafy greens anyways. So maybe I'll supplement with vitamin A, and then I'll just definitely have the dark leafy greens. And then but there is I heard Rhonda Patrick talking about a study where basically they looked at people who just took a basic bitch multivitamin. Let me sound American. Multivitamin, and their outcomes in life were just much greater than those who didn't. So I think it's just a real good hedge to just be like, if you take a multivitamin, like it's good. You want to be careful that you don't have like an imbalance on certain things. So doing something like, even if you don't use that app all the time, maybe just do like a week, look at the typical things that you have in, and then you could actually put in your multivitamin, scan that in, look at what your measures are coming out at, your levels are coming out with, and then that will allow you to adjust. However, having said all that, don't forget, I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice. I'm just telling you what I do. Or some recommendations that you might want to consider with your GP being in the loop. Get a blood test. So you can now pay for like these private ones, which will get your bloods done, and you can see if you're low or high or anything. Like I haven't done one in a while, but like last time I remember I did one, it was like your vitamin D was perfect. And at the time I was taking a vitamin D supplement. So I continue taking the vitamin D supplement. So yeah, and on that, so I have a multivitamin, which is quite a good one actually. It's called Terra Nova. So it's supposed to be in quite a good bioavailable form. It's quite expensive. Vitamin D, zinc. I sometimes take a vitamin C one. Just 'cause I've got some left over. It's supposed to be good with collagen as well. So if I'm taking collagen, which I might do close to an event, or if I've got like a lot of like shouldery stuff I'm doing where I need a little bit more joint support, then I'll take the vitamin C with that because it helps it. And I take magnesium. They're like the main sort of pillars that I take. So I hope that was helpful. Okay, we are on to 2 hours now. Right, I'm going to do one more and one more. So apologies if I didn't get around to yours. Which one? Luke K says, how do you feel about your attachment style now you're single again? Unchanged. This person's probably watched my episode on anxious attachment, which I would recommend. And I also talk about other attachment stuff as well. I recorded that when I was right at the end of a relationship. Still in it at the time, but I knew it was kind of coming to a close. And I kind of had this realization that I just needed to, rather than trying to be secure, that the acceptance of loving who I am and my attachment style with it, as in someone who maybe needs like a little bit more contact, who wants to like give love to the other person, the accepting that is like a secure act. Like, this is who I am and this is the love I've got to offer. And if you don't like it, then that's fine, but it's not going to work. We're not compatible. I think, and I've said this before, like, I think we need to be careful on like removing things that make us us. And if you are someone who has an anxious attachment style, that probably means that you're going to be like a little bit more sensitive to others' needs, more, you may need a little bit more in return, but you're able to probably give that little bit more than, say, someone who is more avoidant. So how I feel about it is I feel very secure in my anxious attachment style. Like, that's who I am. And like, I don't want to have to show up in a relationship pretending that I'm secure, pretending that I'm someone I'm not. If that person falls in love with the caricature of me and the forced secure version of me, then that will never feel authentic. So I have to show up as Jason. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be, that doesn't mean that I can use it as an excuse to be needy or controlling. But what it does mean is that I'm going to show it respectfully as me and communicate my own needs with the level of self-respect that I deserve, which will then allow us to have a healthier relationship. Now, might that mean that I'll wait longer to find the person that I'm going to settle down with? Or might that mean that I never find that person? But I think I'd rather like know that I'm showing up as me than trying to be something that I'm not, because eventually when I find that person, they will love me for who I am. So that's how I feel. And yeah, I think that's the way that you have to be. Like, love yourself for who you are, acknowledge it. Don't be controlling. Like, be self-aware, be respectful of others, communicate, love, hug, fuck, pray, whatever, and just have a nice life. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you very much for all those questions. I do always enjoy these. Although that was a long one. And yeah, I will make sure those who sent in more, that I will keep them in for the next one. We do. I'll have to do one episode 100. That's cool, isn't it? 100 episodes. Insane to think that's been a thing, but we're not there yet. So I think this is episode 81. But thank you so much for all your support. I'll try and put links into the show notes for stuff that you can check out. Don't forget, head over to indeep.com/podcast, claim one of those free months and get in there and start building your habits. And then you can, if you go in there and then go to public view and then just type in Awaken Out of Jason, or you can go indeep.com/Awaken Out of Jason. Follow me on there and check if I'm doing any of my habits and kick me up the ass if I'm not doing it metaphorically. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you next week.